What is up, people of the interweb? Let's talk about healthy eating, particularly veganism. Is it what the people who practice it claim to potentially be? And is it just healthy in general? Now the impetus for this video is actually another guy's video by the name of Fresco. Now about a month and a half ago, he came out with a video on veganism, and naturally, since I've sort of been on a health journey recently, I was drawn to this video, and so I listened to what he had to say, and I didn't agree with a lot of it, so I proceeded to do something I don't normally, and that is I wrote out a comment, and I was actually looking forward to having a productive dialogue with this guy, but the next time I logged on to my account, my comment was no longer there, and I didn't know what happened, so I posted it again and again, and it got deleted. I guess. I mean, if it didn't, I'm not sure what could have happened. I don't really want to believe that it did. So I messaged him about this, and perhaps he didn't see it. All that I know is that he didn't respond, and every time I posted my comment, it was removed. So, if that is what happened, that's pretty shitty, man. But I don't want to dwell on the lack of chivalry, I guess, here. So I want to get into the content, which is going to be based off Coy's perspective, portrayed in that video, which I think I can justifiably use as a sort of template for what the majority of the vegan mindset is, just because of the overwhelmingly positive feedback he got on that video. So let's start first with the health benefits. Now, veganism is a trend, but I think it is a trend because people do generally experience benefits when switching from a more typically unhealthy lifestyle. But what does that mean? You have to remember that the typical lifestyle, especially diet in America, is atrocious. We are some of the fattest, sickest people we've ever been in human history. So saying that you are relatively healthy by a more high standard of what you could potentially be is just the same as saying I am relatively sick. So it's not saying much. The question I want to answer is, how can we become as vital as possible? Coy lists off a number of symptoms that he ascribes to veganism, which really are just symptoms of generally good health. Some of these being healthy looking skin, longevity, just all around feeling good, mental clarity, being cancer free, obviously, are all signs of being a healthy human being. Now, let's get into some foods. Milk. Coy states the fact, which I'm going to assume is correct, that 70% of the world's population is lactose intolerant, and he therefore brings up the fact that since many of the cows in our commercial industries are injected with growth hormones. Actually, all of them are in the commercial systems. And therefore, it is not healthy to be consuming these products. And that is true. Furthermore, it is unhealthy to be consuming milk, just your average like hood milk that you find in your grocery store, because it is pasteurized and homogenized, and whatever nutrition could have potentially been in that milk was literally stripped away for the sake of preservation. Now, what I don't get is how Coy just dismisses the idea of benefiting from milk simply because there is a high chance that you are not having a healthy relationship with this substance. There is still 30% of the world population that can metabolize this substance. And there are sources where you can get healthy milk products. If you are one of these people who think you may be able to benefit from milk, I would encourage you to look into where you might be able to find raw dairy that is not pasteurized or homogenized, and it's likely that you'll be able to find a perfectly viable food source for yourself. No need to just do away with it. Moving on to meat products, he says that because they are fed antibiotics, the cows that we, or just animals that we get meat from, therefore that they are unhealthy to eat. Very true. Furthermore, animals today in the agricultural system are unhealthy to eat because they are just fed what they aren't supposed to. I am gluten intolerant, so it would kind of be, the parallel would be like if an animal who was gluten intolerant, although that doesn't exist that I know of in them, it's like they're being fed the wrong stuff, so their vitality is going to be lessened, and therefore you're not going to be benefiting as much as you could be from consuming these products. And because of certain practices that go on, they can be worse than just not healthy. They can be detrimental. So, but that's not to say to just do away with meat. The problem is that we bring up meat in a bad way. If you are someone that think you might be able to benefit from meat, look into where you can find good meat. There's likely an organic vendor around where you live that gets meat from farms that treat their animals with love and respect, that feeds them, say if it's a cow, grass, the natural stuff they were supposed to be consuming, so that we are practicing just more life-affirming habits. This meat will make you feel vital if you are someone who can benefit from that. Now, I want to get into how some people can know if they will be able to benefit from it or not, and that is by bringing up this book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, by Paul Chek. Now, this is the main resource I've been using basically to coach myself out of chronic fatigue for the past 8 months. That was at first very debilitating, but pretty much just by looking at food as medicine, I've been able to come a long way. Now, he talks about something in here that he calls primal pattern dieting. I think he gets this idea from a book, if you are interested into delving deeper into this, called The Metabolic Typing Diet. Now, the philosophy behind this is that each human is truly a biochemically special individual. You can't make blanket statements saying that one thing is going to work for everybody. To say that, it just implies that you don't really understand You have to look back at the vast history that makes us possible. For thousands and thousands of years, there have been people eating meat. And so, you have to look. If you come from a lineage where the majority of your family, or pretty much your ancestral line, comes from a tropical region where they were consuming mostly plant-based foods and not much animal products, and it's likely that you will benefit and thrive on a diet that is concentrated more on those foods. But likewise, you may come from a lineage that is made up of people who lived in a more northern part of the world where the ground froze over in the winter, and that to survive, they had to eat flesh foods. Now, this is a habit that was practiced for years and years, thousands and thousands of years, that makes you up into your biochemical snowflake. Now, you have to try and get in touch with that. I don't know what works for you. I'm still trying to figure out what is the best for me. But the answer is not to just kind of ignorantly claim that one thing works for everybody, because it necessarily doesn't. Explore. Try different foods. Try excluding certain foods for a period of time. See what makes you the most vital. If you're interested in getting that resource, there's a survey in How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy that could possibly help you figure out how you can move towards a place of figuring out your most optimal diet. Now, that pretty much sums it up for the health side of things. I'm going to make a part 2 that's going to get into the ethical side, so I will see you there.